You're seeing a massive wave of Christianity, and you're also seeing a massive wave of Satanism. And it seems like we're approaching the final division. On the rise, sex trafficking, human trafficking.
We are clearly moving towards something big. Who doesn't feel that? Everybody feels it. The divide is spiritual. Clearly we're under the oppression of evil, trying to hurt people for the sake of hurting people. You thought some politician was gonna save you? Are you worshiping people now? You don't worship people.
All the things, the defund the police, BLM, Antifa, the war, it's all seems to be starting to die down a little bit. And what I'm seeing, and maybe this is just because I'm that interested in it, is you're seeing a massive wave of Christianity coming. And you're also seeing a massive wave of Satanism. And it seems like we're approaching the final division. You're seeing pedophiles on the rise, sex trafficking, human trafficking. I mean, the U.S. is the #1 consumer of kiddie porn on the planet. And you just see this good and evil just going farther and farther apart. And it's becoming, at least from my point of view, you know, it's becoming
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more vehemently. And I don't have too many, great insights into things or prophetic feelings. I'm very conventional, but the one thing that I really felt strongly a couple of years ago was really strongly, I felt it overwhelmingly, like from outside me, was that there's some form of religious revival coming. I felt that really strongly. And I'm like an extremely secular person. Obviously, I say fuck every other word. I'm sorry that I do that. I shouldn't. I definitely grew up that way. So like for me to have that insight, but overwhelming. And I said it to a couple of friends of mine who were very secular, and they're like, what? But I felt it. And that has turned out, I think, to be true. And I have no idea where it's going. And I get a lot of people coming to my barn like every day, literally every day, and leaving me big stacks and stuff on the end times. And I think history ends. I think we all sort of sense history ends. But it's also really clear that we don't know when it ends. So I kind of resent that a little bit, because it's like, what are you, God? Like, you know the future? We don't know the future. We can't know. We're not going to know the future, okay? That's very clear, and I believe it. But we are clearly moving towards something big. Who doesn't feel that? Everybody feels it. And the divide is spiritual. And I try to be mindful of my own sort of sectarian limitations. Like when you're one thing, you think everyone else should be that thing or whatever. And I really am a Christian, or attempting to be. But I think it's enough to say the people who know they're not God, who show reverence before a power bigger than themselves, like those people are on our side. That's how I personally feel. And I think you need to believe in Jesus. I think that, okay? But I am also willing to believe that as a functional matter, the people, I had an experience of this, I'm sure will offend a lot of people, but it's real. I was flying to the Middle East recently, and I was on one of those planes with the double-decker planes, A380s, I think, what a big plane. And I go back, take a leak, and it's like everyone's asleep or whatever on the plane. And there's like that little bar area, it's like an open area. And there's a guy, he looked to be South Asian, he looked Pakistani to me, but maybe not. Had to be 70 years old. And he's got his prayer mat out and he's praying. There's no one around and he's praying in the middle of the flight and everyone's asleep. And I've never been particularly pro-Islam. In fact, I was very anti-Islam for a long time. And I thought to myself, I'm not a Muslim. I'm never going to be a Muslim. I disagree with Islam in a lot of ways. But a guy who's taking time out in the middle of a fucking flight when everyone's asleep to acknowledge that he's not God and bow before his God. I don't think that man's my enemy on a deep level. I just don't. I'm sorry. Call me like a tool of Muhammad or something. I'm not. I'm a Christian. But like, how is that guy my enemy? He's a massive improvement over everyone in DC who thinks they're God. Mm-hmm. Like, I do think that. I'm sorry. I do. There's something about the humility of acknowledging I'm not in charge. I can't see the future. I'm totally imperfect. That is the most important thing. And that's how I kind of see the spiritual divide. That said, Christianity seems to be growing in power even as the church is collapsing into absurdity. Church leaders, not all, but a lot of them are totally corrupt. I don't know what's going on with the Pope. I'm not Catholic, so I'm not going to comment on that. But like, whoa, doesn't look like Christianity to me.
It's another symbol.
On the other hand, the number of Catholics, some of my closest friends are Catholic, a lot of my closest friends are Catholic. They're the most fervent, sincere, on-target Christians I know. I'm just saying that. They are. I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe their theology is wrong. I don't know. It's not up for me to judge, but they are serious Christians and they mean it, and their life is bearing the fruit of those beliefs. In other words, as the church, like the structure collapses, some of the members of the church seem even stronger. Have you noticed this?
Well, I mean, it goes back to what we were talking about this morning. The church is not, I'm new at this.
Oh, me too. Oh, gosh.
The church is not a brick and mortar structure.
No.
The church is the living body of believers in God and Jesus Christ. And that is it. There is no club. There is no, I'm in this camp and you're in that camp. You're either in the church or you're not.
I agree.
It's not a fucking brick and mortar.
I totally agree. But you see it. All of a sudden you see it. I mean, I made it like 50 years, more than 50 years in this country without really talking. I mean, where I worked, in the media, television, people come in and like talk about whatever, some threesome they had, or they're doing meth over the weekend. And I'm like, people are pretty far out, in TV, because it's like, it's all theater kids. It's all people who project and share too much. Mm-hmm. So I just worked in a world where people just would like tell you their deepest secrets, like at a drop of a hat. I don't think I ever one time heard someone mention a spiritual dimension in his life, ever. That was totally verboten. Like that was the one thing you could not talk about. I never heard anybody talk about spirituality. It was so embarrassing. Like your freaky sex life, not embarrassing. The idea you might pray, highly embarrassing.
Wow.
And that's just the world I've lived in. I mean, I'm hardly bragging about it. I'm ashamed of it. It's ridiculous, actually, but that is just true. And for the record, I was not into meth or freaky sex shit, at all. Very conventional person, but I was around that a lot. And all of a sudden, in the last few years, just random sort of normal secular American people are like, I was praying about that, or I think God's doing this, or like, wait, what? We were not, okay, I have a good memory. That's like my one superpower. We were not having these conversations in my world 5 years ago. Nobody.
Yeah.
So what is that? There's something going on. And of course, that's the way God works. Evil is not unchallenged. Clearly, we're under the oppression of evil, not just the Biden administration, which is just a manifestation of it, but there's something way bigger, trying to hurt people for the sake of hurting people with climate change or manufactured famines, which are clearly that's going on. And
managing a household, especially with kids, is no small feat. I totally get it, and that's why I've made sure my family has a plan in place if something unexpected ever happens. But what about you? Do you have a plan to help protect your family's financial future? Don't worry. Fabric by Gerber Life can help. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done today. Made for busy parents like you, all online, on your schedule, right from your couch. You could be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and your budget, like $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Fabric also has free digital wills, tools to invest in your kids' future, and more, all right from your phone. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply today in just minutes at meetfabric.com/srclips. That's meetfabric.com/srclips. meetfabric.com/srclips. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company, not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
Pharma stuff. It's just all evil, right? It's very obvious. And everyone watching this, I think, knows, of course, everyone knows what I'm talking about. But that's not going to happen in a vacuum. That can't happen. That's not how it works. That's not how the universe works. That's not how God works. So as that stuff rises in power, so does God, who's more powerful. And I know how the story ends. He wins. So that's true. I'm not afraid at all. So, but it's cool to see it. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like
I do.
God is showing his face more? I mean, is that?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked to Brett.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He literally just grabbed me by the collar and was like, and Yeah, and ever since he got my attention, I'm all in, and it's there's nothing that gives me hope. There's no presidential candidate. There's no politician. There's nobody. There is no human that gives me hope.
It's all part of the
anymore.
deception.
And who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't think I'm wrong. But I look at all these things that we're seeing with the gender wars, with the race wars, with the division, with the right and left, with the Easter Sunday is now Trans Visibility Day. The Pope is saying that gay marriage is great. Look, I don't give a shit about gay marriage.
I get it.
But I'm sorry, but it's the Pope is not the man to change the Bible or the Word of God. And
Or just
you
take
see
3 steps back. What is that? It's like, don't
all
get
these-
lost in the weeds of the details. Like,
yeah.
that's fucked up. You're serving the other team. I'm sorry, you are.
But what I'm getting at is I look at all this stuff as symbology, and it's symbolizing that all this stuff that I had dismissed for years
I know.
is very real.
It's the only thing that is real, actually.
Yeah. It's and so it gives me, when I see this stuff, it still pisses me off and enrages me, and the Easter thing like really threw me.
Oh yeah.
But
At least they're showing their face.
Once
It's been
I
going
calm
on
down-
long. They murdered the president of the United States and lied about it. So, right. Okay. So, like, this has been going on a long time, long before we were born. In fact, it's been going on for all time.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this about the Christians, to their great credit, they're not shocked at all. They're like, well, what did you think? You thought some politician was going to save you? Are you worshiping people now? You don't worship people.
Yeah.
They're people. No one's going to save you in this life. That's a lie. And by the way, shame on you for believing it, you fool.
yeah,
Like that's how they feel about it. And the rest of us, the dumb people like me, are like, I can't believe it's not real. You're like, they've been lying to me. I can't believe it. All the stories you told me there's no Santa? Seriously? And the Christian's just like, what? Of course it's fake. Like, are you kidding? We don't fight against, it's not against men. Like, it's the same thing that's been going on again for all time, that every other civilization has believed in as its core belief, except us. And we're like shocked. I can't believe it that our stupid post-war materialist theology turned out to be fake. Who could have guessed?
yeah. But that's what gives me hope.
Totally.
Seeing all the symbology.
Totally. And also, you're kind of commanded, or you are commanded, to be hopeful and cheerful and joyful. And if you're not, then that's kind of on you. Then, you know what I mean? Then you obviously don't believe it. I mean, I stopped going to church during COVID for that exact reason, when the priestess at our church was like, which is itself like nuts, but whatever. The denomination I grew up in was nuts. I didn't quite realize how nuts until COVID. And then the rector of the church is like, well, we can't have services because I'm afraid of getting COVID and dying. And it's like, you're afraid of dying? Really? You're afraid? Their whole religion was not to be afraid of dying. Like, the whole point of our religion is that we don't need to be afraid of dying. Like, what's the other point? I don't know. Do we have another point? I think that is the point. And so if you're afraid of dying, but I remember being so shocked by that. And I went home and said to my wife, I was like, we're not going to church again. This chick says she's afraid of dying. I was like, what? And we were both like almost because we really did grow up in this church. And I was like, we were both so shocked. And then looking back 4 years later, I'm like, I can't believe we were shocked. Like, how dumb were we? How naive were we?
Yeah.
Of course, people are deceptive but lies are always exposed, like, in the end. And they're not going to win. They may have some temporary, ground gaining offensives, but they're not going to win.
Yeah.
Are they?
No, they're not.
Can I say one last thing?
Absolutely.
Since I know a lot of these people the people I am always railing against, and I hate them and all this stuff, but like, they're totally suffering now. They're miserable. Like, I think if you looked inside Tony Blinken's soul, you would not find anything interesting or profound at all. At all. It's as like banal as you imagine it is. This is my guess. But I think you would find a lot of turmoil and unhappiness and insecurity barely sublimated rage, unhappiness, chaos.
Yeah.
And I think that is true of all these people. You think Joe Biden is happy, or his creepy fake doctor wife, or any of these people, Gavin Newsom, you really think he's like got a joyful life? Like, these people are living in hell now, actually. And so I do think that should be a marker. If you're looking at who to believe, who to put your confidence in, not your faith, put your faith in no man, but your confidence. I think the first thing you have to assess is this person happy, is joyful? Because if he's not, he's clearly on the wrong path. He's following a lie, knowingly or not. Like, I think it's a fair way to assess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a damn good point.
So if you wake up in a society run by unhappy women and the weak men who make them unhappy, these are not people worth following.
That's a damn good point.
We're producing unhappy women. That's the only thing that we produce now. Our steel industry has died. We don't produce good cars, but we do produce a lot of unhappy women. A ton, like a surfeit. Actually, we can't even export them at this point. Sorry. It's true.
If you looked at export.
You can't export them.
Yeah.
It's like no one wants them.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.